Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hope everyone has been doing well. I was kind of on a little bit of a knife video hiatus. I don't know, just other things kind of seemed more important for a little bit, but wanted to get this one out there. I've had this Something Obscene mini J cape for a little bit here, and I kind of bought it to contrast it to my full-size J cape, so we're going to get into that. But what I really wanted to tackle with this video is the mini J cape the one for you if you are interested in either the mini J cape or the J cape 3.5, which I realize is out of screen here. Sorry, it's been a little while. So we're going to be taking a look at this knife, and I'll give you my thoughts after carrying it for quite some time now. This is the box that it comes with. I have to admit, I brought the full-size J cape box out with me to do this video, but rest assured it is going to be the same box as the mini J cape. So there's that. Before we get started with my observations, I wanted to do some comparisons. We'll see here the mini J cape as compared to the J cape 3.5 looks like that. So I mean, in this shot alone you see it although it's the same shape, the 3.5 and the mini, they're just different animals. Like they really are, and we definitely saw that. The mini J cape as opposed to a Shurgroff F3 looks like that. And then brought a couple of newer ones out here just so you guys can kind of see my newer acquisitions that maybe I haven't done a video on, or really don't get much FaceTime. There's it compared to a Demco 8020S, and then I also brought out a Chris Reeve large Sabenza 31. Looks like that. And then finally, we will compare it to a Strider SMF. Looks like that. So with that, we're gonna jump into my my overview. Basic line up front with this knife. So it is small, right? It's small. It's 6.5 inches overall. It features a 2.5 inch cutting edge. This one's gonna weigh, depending on how you dress it, 3 to 3.5 ounces. Mine's definitely on the lighter side, so probably close to 3 ounces. It is very lightweight. The blade steel is going to be CPM 20 CV. It is running on bearings, which this one is going to be running on Skiff bearings, which Skiff does a really good job of kind of making aftermarket bearings for more popular knives. So this one is running Skiffs as it is right now. It features 6 AL4V titanium handles, and the OEM of this knife is going to be Riot, so made in China. So with that, we're going to go through my overview. Appreciate y'all tuning in, and happy to be back. All right, one more thing, I swear. Sorry, it's been a while. I wanted to make a plug, or just kind of a funny observation that I had for Something Obscene Knives. So I do belong to a Facebook group that buys, sells, and trades Something Obscene Knives, and the culture is really funny. I've kind of been lurking on the Facebook group for a while, but it is definitely a funny group of people. If you are a flipper, you want to charge eBay prices for your knives, you are not going to last. Like your items just won't sell, and I think there's kind of like a sense of camaraderie amongst the Something Obscene community. But that said, if you have any Gucci version of either a J cape, mini J cape, or a J cape 3.5, they will demand a premium. And I mean, the way these dudes spend money, I mean, they may seem very kind of rough around the edges, blue collar, but if you throw before them like a Zerk and Dam Steel, like, version of one of these knives, car payments, divorce settlements, be damned, these guys will rip out their pocketbooks for them. And it's amazing to see how much some of these knives go for. And with that, I wanted to bring up my next point, is just the vast price range for the same knife. Something Obscene J capes, they're kind of like the Build-A-Bear of the knife community, but the difference here for even a mini J cape, if you go on Something Obscene's website, you're looking at anywhere from $350 to $725 for a mini. If you look at a large one, it's well over $1,000 for just this accent kit. So having this this Zerk pocket clip as well as the backspacer, that's going to be a $225 add-on, and you can also they're sold out right now, but you can go full Zerk handles for this, and that will cost you $425. So I kind of wanted to foot stomp that, just the vast price difference in range for ostensibly the exact same knife. And we see that sometimes, like I know I've made a comment before about Chris Reeves, how you can have a, Chris Reeve large Sebenza 31, depending on how it's dressed up, will really affect the price. But, under the hood, so to speak, it's the exact same knife. And, I'm definitely guilty of kind of liking a little bit of bling on these knives. But I just thought that was kind of interesting, just the vast range of prices for the same blade. All right, now that we knocked out those asides, I do kind of want to quickly go through my observations after, genuinely trying to and carrying this knife for quite some time. It is no secret, if you watched my channel at all, you really won't find many small knives in my collection. But, more recently, one of my buddies was selling this one, and that in concert with the fact that I've kind of gotten on that J-Cape 3.5 bandwagon, I decided to pick this one up and just give it a fair shake. I wanted to see what it was like to carry a smaller version of a knife that I'm familiar with. And I have owned small CRKs in the past too, but my hands are huge and it really wasn't an option. But I have been, as far as small knives go, I have been very impressed with kind of the ergos associated with this knife. So with that, this knife is definitely tiny but wieldy. It has a really nice grip. I love the thumb ramp. This one does have a extremely false choil, whereas on the 3.5, you can kind of get away with using the choil on this one. You're not going to be able to get away with the choil at all on the mini cape. You're just not. The next thing that I wanted to cover was just what I'm calling, I don't really know the tech specs or the vernacular for it, but this singular grind bevel, I'm going to call it. I definitely appreciate that because, ostensibly you look at this knife and you think there's probably two different grind angles. That's all cosmetic, and it is a, singular bevel throughout the entire cutting surface. And from a sharpening standpoint, I think that that's a really good look. And, the other way may look cooler, but I do appreciate it as someone who sharpens knives. I think that was a really, really good look. The next thing that I wanted to cover was just the fit and finish. These CNC'd handles, they provide substantial weight relief, and there's weight relief kind of down here in the cuts on the inside of the handles. That makes this thing very, very wieldy. Like this one, as I said, is about 3 ounces. Really nice that they did that weight relief so you don't just have like a chunk in your pocket. The next observation that I had was these very small Torx bits that need to be used to work the pivot. They're actually, the Torx bit needed for the pivot is going to be smaller than the backspacer, which I don't really like or agree with. I actually like larger Torx bits, and I have pretty good eyesight. I don't know, but it can be a little bit cumbersome to get a Torx bit in there without scratching the pivot, anything like that. I guess they probably make it a small Torx bit so that you can't over tighten the pivot. But with bearing knives that aren't on washers, the action is going to pretty much remain the same. So I'm not really concerned about over torquing or under torquing anything. So something of note that Torx pivot is going to be very small. I think overall this is a simple yet elegant small knife. Riot, as we have seen, manufactures awesome pieces, and although what kind of gets you down a little bit with these are going to be like the hype pricing and the cult following, it does make the Something Obscene knives a little bit more expensive, but I don't know if I'm just numb to it. It really doesn't bother me like other other hype brands, I would say. I've owned enough of their knives just over the last year, and I do really have an appreciation. So although people may turn their nose up at it, being like, it's OEM China, whatever, you're paying out the ass for it, they put together a great product, and I would put it, toe to toe with any of the US offerings for sure. Another observation that I had upon carrying this knife, it was kind of a small knife epiphany, I'm calling it, in that, you know, given the smaller closed length of this, I mean, if you look at, you know, height this way as compared to a 3.5 or certainly a large Sebenza, I'll try to get these situated the right way. The fact that this is kind of like so short and stubby, coupled with just kind of proportionally a smaller pocket clip, so you're gonna have less surface area there. I found that this mini J-cape has the tendency to kind of tumble or flip in my pocket. Like if I had my hand in my pocket and went to pull this out, depending on what I was doing, it would kind of like flip up because there wasn't anything really holding it in. So that's just something that I've learned about carrying smaller knives, especially smaller full frame titanium knives. They have a tendency to flip in my pocket. So I was kind of like, huh, maybe that's why I'm not the biggest fan of, you know, smaller knives, but who knows? And with that, like kind of just wrapping this video up. So I am constantly reminded how I like, you know, 3.5 to 4 inch blade folders. But I thought I'd give this a go since it had been a while since I carried or owned a small knife. I mean, that said, there really aren't any like mention worthy everyday tasks that this can't do. And with that, I kind of my conclusion, or like kind of the end thought with this knife was like, God, it's not you, it's me. Like I don't know. Like there's just something about it, but you know, certainly this can cover any task you throw at it, as well as a 3.5 or 4 inch. I just really do enjoy carrying, handling, using a larger blade. So, you know, hope that gave you all a little bit of perspective about the mini J-cape from Something Obscene, again, compared to the 3.5 there. It's a great knife if you can get your hands on it. Again, I have the flipper version of this. They do make a thumb stud only version of it as well. I think it's a great way to go if you can get it for the right price. And again, these starting off at about $350, but sky's the limit when you start dressing them up. So I appreciate y'all tuning in. We will see you next time.